Be me, woman. 24 years old, working as dental hygienist at office downtown here. Live with my roommate Carrara in apartment. We split rent on equally. Spend a lot of time on feminist TikTok and Twitter, learning about things. Feel like I finally understand how patriarchy works in relationships now. My younger sister Emma is 21, still in college studying nursing there. She has been dating her boyfriend Jake for about 2 years now. He seems nice enough when I met him at family dinners before, but I started noticing red flags everywhere once I learned what to. Emma calls me excited one night, saying Jake surprised her with flowers. Tells me he showed up at her apartment with roses, just because. I immediately feel concerned and ask her why he did that randomly. She says there was no reason. He just wanted to make her smile. Tell her that is actually a red flag for controlling behavior. Honestly, she laughs and asks how flowers are controlling. That makes no sense. Explain that love bombing is a manipulation tactic abusers use to control. Say he is trying to make her dependent on his validation and approval. She says I am overthinking it, and he is just being sweet to tell her that is what abusers want you to think when they manipulate. She gets quiet and says she never thought about it that way. Feels satisfied that I am helping her see the truth about Jake clearly. A few weeks later, Emma mentions Jake asked her to text when she's home. Says he worries when she drives late at night after studying at library. I immediately recognize this as another major red flag for abuse, clearly here. Tell her he is trying to track her movements and control her freedom. She says he just worries about her safety because there was crime recently. Tell her that is the excuse abusers always give for controlling behavior patterns. Explain that healthy relationships are built on trust, not surveillance and monitoring. She says maybe I am right, and she will think about it. She starts sending Emma articles about emotional abuse and controlling partners constantly now. Send her TikToks about red flags and how to recognize manipulation and tactics used. She reads them and starts questioning things Jake does that seemed normal. I feel like I am saving her from making huge mistakes staying with him. Emma calls me crying one day, saying she and Jake had an argument. He got upset because she canceled plans last minute to study for exam. Says he told her he feels like she does not prioritize their relationship. I tell her this is classic abuser behavior, trying to isolate her from... She asks what I mean, and I explain abusers isolate victims from support. Say he is trying to make her choose between him and her education. Tell her this is a huge red flag, and she needs to seriously reconsider. She says she never thought about it like that before. I said few days later she calls and says she talked to Jake about it. Says he apologized and explained he was just feeling neglected lately, tells me he understands her school is important and wants to support her. I tell her apologies are part of the abuse cycle. He is manipulating. She sounds confused and asks if I really think Jake is an abusive person. Tell her abusers do not seem abusive at first. That is how they say the fact that she is questioning it proves he has her confused. She says she loves him, but is starting to see the red flags. Encourage her to make a list of all the controlling things he does. She texts me later with a list that includes things like asking about her day, checking in when she is out late with friends studying, wanting to spend weekends together instead of her going out without him. Read through the list and tell her these are all major red flags. She says when I put it like that, it does seem really controlling. Tell her she deserves someone who trusts her and does not monitor her. She says she is going to think seriously about the relationship now. Over the next few weeks, I keep reinforcing that Jake is not good. Send her more content about recognizing abuse and leaving toxic relationships safely. She starts pulling back from him, and he notices the change clearly. Emma tells me he keeps asking what is wrong, and she does not tell her not to tell him about the abuse concerns because abusers escalate. She says she will be careful and just needs time to think. A few weeks later, she calls me and says she broke up with Jake. I feel proud that I helped her escape a controlling relationship before worse. She sounds sad but relieved and thanks me for opening her eyes. Says she would not have seen it without me pointing out the tell. She is brave for leaving, and she will be happier now. She says she hopes so, but feels really sad about losing him. Emma moves back home with our parents for a few weeks after breakup here. She says she needed support and did not want to be alone. I visit, and she seems really down and depressed about the whole. Tell her this is normal after leaving an abusive relationship, and she will heal. She starts talking about Jake a lot, saying she misses him badly. Says she wonders if she made a mistake breaking up with him. I remind her about all the red flags and controlling behavior patterns. She nods, but does not seem convinced anymore, which worries me here. A few weeks later, I see on Instagram that Emma posted photo with Jake. They're smiling together, and caption says, "She missed this so much." Feel my stomach drop and immediately call her, asking what is happening. She says she and Jake got back together after talking everything through. Tell her she is making huge mistake going back to abusive partner. She says he is not abusive, and I misunderstood the whole situation. People says she talked to her therapist about the concerns I raised about them. The therapist told her nothing Jake did was abusive, just normal relationship things. Feel shocked and angry that therapist would say that to her clearly. Tell her the therapist is wrong and does not understand abuse dynamics. She says the therapist specialized in domestic violence, so she does understand. Says everything I told her was red flag was actually just normal. Tell her she is in denial and being manipulated by himself. Still, she gets upset and says I do not know Jake like she does. Says he has always been respectful and kind to her the whole time. Tell her that is what victims always say when they are manipulated. She raises her voice and says she is not a victim. Stop saying. Tell her she is in denial and cannot see clearly because of manipulation. She says no. I am the one who cannot see clearly here. Says I convinced her to break up with someone who loved her for. Tell her I was trying to protect her from making a mistake staying. She says the mistake was listening to me and breaking up with him. Says she was miserable without him and realized I was completely wrong. Feel shocked that she is blaming me for trying to help her. Tell her I was just trying to look out for her as sister. She says looking out for me would have been supporting my relationship. Says instead, I convinced her boyfriend was abusive when he just tells me she does not want to talk to me about Jake. A few weeks pass, and Emma stops responding to my texts and calls. I see on social media she's hanging out with Jake constantly. Reach out to our mom, asking if Emma is okay or avoiding. Mom says Emma is fine, but upset with me about the situation. Ask Mom what she means, and Mom says Emma told her everything. Says I convinced her Jake was abusive and she broke up with, then realized I was wrong and got back together with him, feeling. Mom says Emma feels like I ruined months of her life for her. Tell Mom I was just trying to protect Emma from red flags. Mom says, what red flags? He is a nice boy who treats her. Tell Mom she does not understand the subtle signs of abuse either. Mom says maybe I am the one who does not understand relationships. Feel hurt that Mom is taking Emma's side over mine here. Clearly tell Mom I was educated about these things from reliable sources online. Mom says maybe those sources are not as reliable as I think. Says not every relationship problem is abuse. Sometimes people just have. Tell Mom she is part of the problem, enabling this toxic relationship. Mom gets upset and says I need to stop, or I will say Emma is happy with Jake and I need to respect that. Tell Mom I cannot respect something that is harmful to my sister. Try to reach out to Emma directly, but she has blocked me. Blocked on Instagram, Facebook, phone, everything. I cannot contact her at. Ask Mom to tell Emma to unblock me so we can talk. Mom says Emma does not want to talk to me right now. A few months pass, and I barely hear anything about Emma from family. Parents mention her occasionally, but change subject when I ask about Jake. Feel frustrated and worried that she is isolating from me because of. Realize this is another sign of abuse he is isolating her from. Christmas comes, and family gathering is at parents' house as usual here. Emma shows up with Jake, and they are clearly still together and happy. She hugs everyone but barely acknowledges me when I say hello. To feel hurt, but try to talk to her anyway about how things. She is polite but cold and keeps conversation short with me only. I try to pull her aside to talk privately, but she tells me she has nothing to say to me and wants to. Feel shocked that my own sister is treating me like this. Later, I overhear her talking to our cousin about the whole situation. She tells cousin I convinced her boyfriend was abusive when he was not. She says she broke up with him and was miserable for months because. Cousin asks why I would do that, and Emma says because Emma tells cousin I spend too much time online and see abuse everywhere. Says I do not have real relationship experience, so I do not. Cousin asks if she is still upset with me about it all. Emma says yes because I refuse to admit I was wrong about. Feel angry over hearing this because I was not wrong. I was trying. Approach them and tell Emma I was just trying to help her. She says if you were trying to help, you would have listened. Says I did not know Jake or their relationship, but convinced her. Tell her I know the signs of abuse from research and education. She says research is not the same as actual experience with someone. Says Jake has never been anything but loving and supportive to her. Tell her abusers are loving until they escalate to worse behavior later. She gets visibly upset and says, "Stop calling him an abuser, right?" Tells me he is kind and respectful, and everything I said says she wasted months being miserable because I planted doubts that were, tells me to leave her alone and walks away from me. Rest of Christmas is awkward, with Emma avoiding me the whole time. I try to talk to parents about it, but they say, tell them I am worried about Emma being back with Jake after. Dad says Jake seems like a good kid, and I should drop it. Tell Dad he does not see the signs like I do clearly. Dad says maybe there are no signs, and Jake is just normal. Feel frustrated that nobody in family understands what I am trying to. They all think I am wrong, but I know what abuse looks. Months pass, and Emma still has me blocked on everything completely now. I ask Mom for updates, and she says Emma and Jake are talking about moving in together after she graduates college. Feel panic that Emma is getting more serious with someone who is. Tell Mom she cannot let Emma move in with him. It is. Mom says it is Emma's decision, and she is an adult now. Say as her family, we have responsibility to protect her from making. Mom says we are not going to interfere in her relationship anymore. Ask Mom what she means anymore, and she says, because of me. Says I interfered, and it backfired, and Emma does not trust my. Tells me Emma specifically asked family not to listen to my concerns. Feel betrayed that my own family is choosing Jake over my concerns. Year later, I hear from cousin that Emma and Jake got engaged. Feel sick knowing my sister is going to marry someone who showed. Try to reach out to Emma through cousin, but cousin says no. Says Emma is happy and does not want me ruining this too. Tell cousin I did not ruin anything. I was trying to help. Cousin says from Emma's perspective, I ruined months of her happiness, for soon says Emma does not want me at the wedding if it happens. Feel shocked that I would not be invited to my own sister? Reach out to Mom and beg her to talk to Emma about. Mom says Emma already made decision, and I am not invited to, says Emma does not trust me around Jake and does not want. Tell Mom this is insane. I am her sister. I should be. Mom says maybe I should have thought about that before I convinced. Says Emma feels like I manipulated her into breaking up with someone. Now she is getting married and does not want me there because. Feel devastated that I am losing my sister over trying to help. Wedding happens few months later, and I am not invited at all. See photos on social media from family members who attended the event. Emma looks happy with Jake, and everyone is celebrating them together there. Sit at home alone, feeling shocked that this is how things turn. Think about how I was just trying to protect my sister from. I learned about red flags and abuse tactics from reliable sources online. Everything I told her was based on real information about controlling behavior. But somehow I am the villain, and she married him anyway, despite. Reach out one last time to Emma, saying I am sorry, and message shows is delivered, but she never responds to me at all. Realize she has decided to cut me out of her life completely. All because I tried to save her from what I thought was. Year later, and I barely hear about Emma from family anymore. Yet they mention her occasionally, but avoid talking about her around me because I know she is still with Jake, living together and seemingly happy. Feel confused about how I got everything so wrong when I was? Talk to my online feminist friends about the situation for support here. They say Emma is probably still being manipulated and does not see. Tell me abusers are good at hiding their behavior from others. And say Emma will eventually realize and come back to me when she will. But deep down, I wonder if I actually was wrong about everything. Maybe Jake was not abusive, and I convinced Emma of something false. Maybe I destroyed my relationship with my sister over internet research that sit here shocked that trying to help her led to losing her. Sometimes convincing someone their partner is abusive when they are not destroys relationships. Sometimes learning about red flags online makes you see abuse where there are none. Sometimes trying to save someone from danger that does not exist costs everything. And sometimes you sit there shocked when they get back together and completely.